on to a very important conversation. We're joined this morning by Dr. Tony Obin. He is CEO, Petroleum Hub Development Corporation. I'm certain that you may have heard about it. You have understood their mandate, but this morning, we hash the mandate, get to take a bit of accountability. It's been about 7 months, maybe a little over 7 months since his appointment. What has been the impact so far? What has he been up to so far? Do you still have that confidence in the hub and its core mandate? Doc, thank you for making time and joining us this morning.
Thank you, and I appreciate you inviting me.
Right. I've heard you talk about the hub constantly and consistently, but I'll pretend that there's a new audience this morning and they probably still do not understand exactly what the hub is about. What really is your core mandate and what's your expectations?
Thank you very much. You know, let me start with the corporation.
Okay.
The corporation is the creation of Parliament, creation by of an Act of Parliament. I think Act 2020-1053, and the core mandate of the corporation is to facilitate and promote the development of the petroleum hub. In fact, Ghana seeks to secure its energy future, and through that also create industry, you know, industrialize out of the petroleum product. Ghana wants to use its location, its unique location as a center of the world to create this hub, which I'll come to, and then ensure that this benefits not only Ghana, not only the people of Jomoro, but also West Africa and Africa in general. I'll come back to those things. So it's a huge proposition. It is a very ambitious proposition where the government has or is in the process of finalizing the acquisition of an expanse of land for the development of 3 refineries, a minimum of 5 petrochemical plants. The 3 refineries will be refining fuel of about a total of about 900,000 barrels per stream day, which is 300 per refinery. Now, I've mentioned 5 petrochemical plants that will be producing fertilizers, polypropylene, plastics, and all those stuff. And don't forget that even our medicines, the medicines that we use, have some petrochemical input in that. And then also, we are enjoying to create the opportunity for the building of storage tanks of about 10 million cubic meters, and then also a complete modern township attached to this. Now, we at the corporation, we are the interlocutor between government and the private sector.
Okay.
This is not going to be built by government like people think. How can government get the 60 billion to build this? And sometimes we are scared by that. But it is not for government to cough out 60 billion to build this dream hub. It is for government to facilitate by the land acquisition, servicing of the land, and then making ourselves available. Don't forget, we have a very stable political climate. We have had it over time. The quality of our human resources is superior compared to other places. We have been involved in the natural resource extraction for some time. I mean, gold has sat with us for a long time. I'm happy I'm not going to talk about gold. And then diamonds and manganese and bauxite and all that. So we have that, and we want to take advantage of this. Remember also that in Africa, 85% of our petroleum product consumption is imported.
Yeah.
We import 85% of all the petroleum product consumption from Europe, from what do you call it, Asia, South America, whatever, you know, and even Nigeria, which produces about 250 million barrels a day, they import over 60% of their consumption from abroad. What is wrong with Africa? Why can't we have a hub where we can produce and feed ourselves in a way? 2, we are all members of African continental free trade.
Yeah.
So why can't we take advantage of that, move our diesel, move our fuel to a place where we can sort of refine and ensure that the cost goes down. Our energy future is assured. So this is what we are mandated to do. We are mandated to cut, in fact, in romantic language, they say woo. Right. Woo investors into the place. And the investors that we are wooing are not only foreign investors. We are wooing both foreign and local investors, Africa, whatever. We are doing that. And if we are able to establish this, this will be the first and the only one on the continent of Africa. All the other continents have hubs. If you go to the Asia, there are several petroleum hubs. If you go to America, you have a hub, we have hubs. If you go to the Americas, I mean Canada and all those places. Now, the reason why I believe that this is very, very important and this will help is that look at Singapore. I always use that as an example. Singapore is of the size of Accra. In fact, they had to borrow some land from the sea, which means that they reclaimed part of their settlement from the sea. But they don't drill one drop of oil, but they have the third largest petroleum hubs in the world.
Let's create it. Let's bring it home. How do I explain to my 10-year-old niece or nephew, what does the hub look like pictorial? Okay. If I visited the job, we'll talk about the land acquisition, compensation, and all of that, which will feed into the 7 months that you've been appointed. But how does this hub look? It looks a lot in my mind, but if I want to break it down, how does it look? How would it look?
It looks like 3 refineries being built. It looks like a minimum of 2 jetties and a new port being built. And I just want to draw your attention to this fact. The deepest the area of our ocean, our sea, our coast, is in Jomoro. So you can do a new harbor that can actually allow vessels of any size to berth over there. So there's an opportunity for another harbor and jet.
Is it part of the hub plan already, the existing plan already?
Yeah, it is part of it. It is part of it.
Okay.
So that you see that, you'll also see a minimum of 5 petrochemical plants being built. And already we have secured one fertilizer company from Qatar that is going to build that one. Of course, we also have some also going to do the phase 1. The project has been phased, so phase 1 to do that. So you see that, and you see a series of tank farms. I'm surprised that we don't have the video. We normally have a video that we show to people to see.
We can fetch
to give them the visual impression.
Okay.
The visual impression, and also and then a township, a modern township, where maybe there will be Joy FM, office over there, also doing other things. But a modern township, which the dream is to have. A quaternary hospital, just like the UGMC, hotels and all that. This is not new. It won't be the first in the world. It will be Africa also rising and Africa hitting above itself. Ghana doing that, having dreams that may not be achieved tomorrow. I don't believe that I would be able to build all the 3 phases of the hub. But I think once we get started, we'll be showing the world that we are serious and people will rush. I mean, I believe people are looking for such big dreams to change the narrative. So
you say that the estimated total cost is how much? 60 billion. As of when?
Yes, as of 2023. And again, these are all estimates. These are all calculations done just off the table. But this will be done by private sector. So in the estimation of us, the petroleum hub, the private sector may find a different way of doing it that reduces the cost. It may also find a way that increases the cost. So these are all, you need to have a figure to it. And we shouldn't be scared because this 60 billion, we've spoken with people, single families who can produce more than this 60 billion.
That's quite refreshing to hear.
Yeah.
But so then let's talk about the role of government and how it can aid you to at least achieving this project, right? Surely that will be land acquisition. You had mentioned that in acquiring this land, servicing of it, facilitating of it, is that inside this cost or that is outside the 60
everything.
billion?
Everything,
Okay.
everything, in terms of the estimation, everything. But what the role of government, first, to establish an entity like us, which is, I call ourselves, I mean, at the office, we say we are the private sector of government, mediating between the private sector outside and government. So we provide the necessary facilitation. For instance, recently we did interagency dialogue. And we did it because we realized that if one has to build, let's say, a petrochemical plant, one petrochemical plant, it might take him about 350 or 347 days to get all the regulatory permits.
Okay.
Which investor
you can facilitate it.
Exactly. So we do that. We will, and we have told ourselves and then our colleagues from other agencies that we want to use 1 month. 1 month to do that, provided the entity, the investor has done all their homework well. I mean, if it is EPA, they would have done all the requirement of the EPA, but they will not go and sit with the EPA. They will just bring everything to us. We review it. Everything is nice. We give it.
You're more like an agent.
Yes, we are like an agent, and that is done within 30 days. Okay.
So where are we with this? Where are we with this dream? It's 7 months. Where are we with it?
Yeah. I mean, see, it is not very easy. It's a big dream. And the last time I checked, in Africa, there are the top 10 dreams of this nature. The Petroleum Hub is number 2. The biggest dream is the construction of the Inga Dam on Congo. So we are also seen to be thinking big. Now, where are we? If a lot of the paperwork has been done, until I came in, I think not many people knew about Petroleum Hub. In fact, even my own colleagues who I thought were also educated and should have known about the Petroleum Hub, when I asked them, do you know anything about petroleum? They say, Petroleum Hub, I don't know anything about it, but there's petroleum around it. It must be a very good place. But at least we have undertaken the journey of making Ghanaians aware and appreciate this dream, which sometimes people are scared because it's big, but that's what Kwame Nkrumah did. And Kwame Nkrumah's dream, which was big at that time, has even become small.
You say the Ghanaians have bought in the idea?
Oh, well, they should. I'm sure a lot of people are warming into that. In fact, some big private sector people, I traveled some of them to try and look for partners to come and do this. Okay. So some private sector people have bought into this. The only thing that we are working on, I know government is working on very hard, is the acquisition of the land.
That must be difficult and easy. Why? Because the government can muzzle up and acquire the land for you, right?
Precisely. Some language is precise. Precisely. Government can use this muscle, use the right of eminent domain to acquire land for us.
How much land, by the way, are you seeking? How many acres?
The land is 20,000 acres, not hectares.
20,000 acres.
And out of the 20,000 acres that we are looking for, 1/3 is actually wetland. 1/3 is wetland, so it will not be used to build any infrastructure there. It is just going to be protected because they are eco-sensitive area. And of course, we are under the Ministry of Energy and Green Transition. And so we need to do whatever it takes to be involved in the green transition process. If we maintained those wetland and vegetation there, and we can even work with the tourist ministry to develop that place into a tourism area without destroying that. I pray that there should be no gold down there.
Would you be happy if there was gold?
No, I'm praying that there shouldn't be.
Why not?
If there is gold there, I don't know what happens.
Two things: you mine it or legally or not legally.
If you mine it legally, I am a mining person.
Absolutely.
And I think God was smart to put oil for us, put gold for us. I think we are not being smart in how to extract it. That's our problem. But let me go back to my
So you say a percentage of this 20,000 acres is
about 6,000.
About 6,000 of it wetlands.
Yeah. Yes, it's wetland. So we are not. So the actual infrastructure, including the township, will be on about 13,000 acres of land.
Okay.
And I recently was in Johor. Johor is in Malaysia. And they had also just completed their first phase. And the first phase is, sits on about 4,000 acres.
First phase of a hub.
Of the hub, yes, over there in Johor. And I tell you, what excited me more and what has actually increased my passion about this project is that the first phase, they told us they employed about 82,000 people. They didn't have enough people, so they had to bring workers from Philippines or something like that. So I see the employment generating prospect. I see opportunity to use that to address some of the galamsey challenges that we have. And this is the way it is. Sometimes, and I have been involved in this for a long time, so when I talk, I somehow, I have been involved in the so-called alternative livelihood project. If you give someone oil palm to go and plant, he thinks that, how long is it going to take for me to get this thing and how much money am I? If the person were trained and employed at the hub, I'm sure he'll find the elegance of working in an oil industry and possibly the fact that there's an opportunity for more pay, even if it is not as high as perhaps what he gets at the illegal things that he's doing and always running away from police and all that. So I think there's an opportunity for us.
How easy or difficult has it been for you so far? Because whilst you're engaged in the private sector, of course, to invest in this dream of ours, the role of government, which will include the land acquisition, let's specifically stay on that for a while. How far have you gone with the acquisition? Have you acquired? Which is the problem? Compensation of the acquisition or what?
This is a national project, if you like. In 2024, the government then, led by the President Akufo-Addo, went and cut short at the place to mean that the project was ready to start, and that he had instructed. I don't play politics like that. I'm not playing politics. I'm saying things because it was a public activity, and said that, look, I have instructed my finance minister to release 200. Mark the words. I have instructed. Is the president instructing my finance minister to release 200 million cedis to start paying the compensation. So that impression was there. And I think they started even an executive instrument to acquire it. When we came, no money has been paid. Nothing had been done in that respect. So it looks like it has to be started all over. And this is what we are doing. Land acquisition is a complex process. You have interest. In Ghana, you have, and that's what we are trying to avoid. We have interest, people, families have interest, chiefs have interest, and all that. So it has to be woven very carefully. So that's what government is doing. I think the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources is doing that. The Lands Commission, they are looking at these processes with us.
Framework government really can, once we've told the people that we're using it in the interest of the people, whether they're happy or not, they are quite compelled to want to release the land.
Yeah, but government, President Mohammed's government will not use that force to do that. We want to make sure that things are done properly. Part of the process also say that you should pay fair and adequate compensation. That could be discussed. You don't need to pay in one go. If you have a framework that will assure payment, that is fine. We are working on that. In fact, recently the finance minister in a conversation indicated that they are working on some money on acquiring the land, which means that probably the money will be available. We may not need to pay compensation for all the land.
Do we have an estimate of how much we need for compensation?
Yes, the estimation that I saw was the entire land. Now, we can take away the wetlands. If we take away the wetlands, the calculation will change significantly. I mean, 1/6 of it. But still do what we intended to do with it.
As of now, how much do we...
But if it's 13, it is 1.2 billion Ghana cedis. 1.2 billion Ghana cedis. You can convert it into dollar and see that it is big, but not outrageous. So that's what government is helping us do. And I know they are very... the Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, they are working very hard on that. We are hoping that we will resolve that and then look at the compensation issue.
So you
I believe that
currently, what is really, shall I use our local way of using the word, standing in between you and your dreams and aspirations for us as a country is the starting of land acquisition, and beyond that, compensating people properly and adequately.
Well put.
To be able to then start.
Well put.
So as of the time that the previous government cut the sword, as of now, that area, how does it look?
It looks like as it was in the beginning, and now it shall ever be. Well with that and amen. That's how it is. But what we have done,
Sorry,
I am sorry. I have some humor. It's my father. My father is a very humorous person, and my mother too.
That's interesting. So we cut sword about nothing for nothing, basically.
Precisely. So what we have done, in fact, recently, those who are doing fertilizer, they did some drone review of the land to see where they are, I mean, the land, the area where their project could fit and all that. So I'm happy that, in fact, recently President Mahama spoke about the land issue when the Western Region House of Chiefs went there, and that was so good for us. I mean, it was so good. It was very reassuring. This project is a good project. I know it can be scary in terms of the size and all that, but if Malaysia is doing it, and if Singapore and other places, what is it? And it is not government budget that builds that.
Yeah, but at least, okay, so November is just around the corner, and the budgets for next year will be read. How much are you pushing at least to find a certain amount, at least a certain amount be committed to the compensation? Because as is where, and from our conversation, it looks to me as though the real thing that you need is compensation to be able to make progress.
I don't think the real thing is the compensation.
Okay.
I think the real thing is to say that we have agreed on this, because we have an MOU. Recently, we had an MOU with a company called Mineshaft that offered to give us 150 million or so cedis, which is big for starters.
Starters, what particularly? What would they give you?
But 300 million in all. Part will be to resettle some communities into a different area, and then also start paying compensation. It is not for the land itself, but compensation for properties that are on the...
What to be in it for Mineshaft then?
Mineshaft, they want to also be part of this building of the project.
Okay.
And so some of the money will also sell part of the land to them for their project. So that will be worked out. So
will you be subleasing some parts of the land?
Oh, yes.
You will?
Yes, because if you want to build, let's say a refinery, we have to lease part of the land to you. And the reason we want to acquire this entire land is that you know how things work. If you acquire 5,000 hectares, for example, but 5,000 will be fine for us, or hectares. But if you acquire 5,000 acres, and they know that this high value, high quality project is coming there, me as a private man, I'll go and acquire the rest. And then the next time that you need the land, the price would have gone through the roof, and it would have changed the dynamics of the project, the cost of the project. That is why we believe that it is good for government to acquire the land. It doesn't mean acquire and use. You acquire the land so that there's no encumbrance when anybody wants it. However, if we are not using it at that time, people can still use that for non-permanent crops. The land could still be used.
I used to put a lot of premium on MOUs until the foreign minister puts a different meaning to MOUs. They're quite friendly, if I want to go by the definition. This MOU by this company, is it that what is it looking like for you? Have they made some commitments?
Yes, they have. But the issue is we need to show that we have the land.
Yeah.
Because the person has.
If you don't compensate, how will you get the land?
No. You can if the land is acquired, then as a condition of total acquisition, then you pay the compensation. You can even say, I have this money in an escrow. So once we have the land, EI that covers the land, then you kick in the details. And in fact, then we can even go into agreement. Like you, I also have a funny feeling about MOUs. Because MOUs are friendly. They're like your love letter.
They're very humanitarian.
Yes.
Right.
So we are hoping and we are counting on the process, the other institutions to help us. Our minister is very actively working with that minister, John Jinapo, very pushing for us. Our deputy minister is also, the deputy minister for energy and green transition, also doing well for us in that area. And now the minister, and one minister that I need to mention his name, her name actually, Minister Ajari, the trade and industry and agribusiness. Because there is petrochemical industry, he has become so excited and calling every day and saying, well, what are you doing and all that. Our Minister, Lands and Natural Resources, also very, very active. For him, it's important that these things happen.
When you walk into meetings with investors, how confident are you to be able to have very, very strong conversations with them to woo them to want to buy in? Because, of course, you're still at the point where land acquisition is just a conversation, really. You're hopeful, but are you able to engage investors? And if so, how far have you been able to go with them? I hear you about manshaft, but I mean, it's not only manshaft you would require or need, right?
No, we have undertaken a lot of investor wooing tours. Well, not a lot, actually, two main ones. And then we have investors also coming down to understand. When this idea broke, there were a lot of people who were interested. They're interested of building a petrochemical plant or moving their refineries from somewhere to the hub, taking advantage of Ghana's current conditions. So we have an agreement for 12 billion construction of the phase 1. That one is an agreement. But this agreement, the fear is that if we don't get the land, then they can tell, well, we have had this thing, nothing is happening. So that's why I'm excited that some work is going on. And I believe that in no time, the land issue will be resolved. When we go out, we don't emphasize on, because we know we'll get the land. Okay, we know the land issue will be resolved. Yeah. So, and we are doing it in the interest of the investors, because we don't want them to go talking to various private landowners and then having multiple sale of land and all that. It is important that the investor has a clean title to the land. And if it's held by government, then it's very easy. So that's what we are doing. I
see you have a soft spot for Singapore, because I see that you had facilitated some businesses as well to attend that Africa-Singapore Business Forum. How did that come up for you?
No, I think this is even not the first time.
Okay.
I think in 2023 or so, there was a trip with private sector people who wanted to actually create interaction, create B2B in Singapore and Malaysia and all that. So this year, the president was going to Japan, and then from there, Singapore. And we were also planning to go to Malaysia in addition. So we advertise that those who are interested, and there's an opportunity for you to have B2B. And I tell you, the top level people who attended, I mean, strategic investment, Toby Afeda's company, they attended, and I would say it's, in a low tone, that Toby Afeda himself was there.
I see.
He was there. And then we had some business people, high-level business. I haven't gotten their permission, so I don't want to mention their names. But they were there and they were excited. Some were really happy that they did. go. Some sort of created some business interactions.
If the 2026 budget is read in November and you do not see a clear-cut allocation to a portion of this your dream, what will be your plan B?
Oh, we have plan B along with the plan A. You don't wait for the first one to go before you. We have the plan B is to get private sector to pre-finance that. In fact, were it not for the fact that, because we are in IMF, you can't ask any, bank to give you debt to do that. We could have done that, but no, we are doing private sectors who would pre-finance that for whatever they need in the for instance, if you are coming to build your refineries and tank farms and all that, and you are very committed, you can pre-finance that amount. The 1.2 billion, all of that is in a way chicken feed for those type of investment. Where for someone who is coming up with $12 billion, for example. So we are in conversation on that. All we need is that government has agreed that, and the community people have agreed that this portion of land will be acquired by government. And then we will run with it.
When you wake up in the morning every day, what's that scare? I know that you say that this dream in itself is quite scary, but for you who has been given that responsibility, what scares you the most about this?
First, the dream is not scary. The dream is exciting.
It's exciting.
It's exciting because I think we are dreaming big. Because why could Singapore dream that way and be successful? Why could Malaysia dream that way and be successful? And we cannot dream. We have to dream small. No. So I am excited by that dream, and I'm passionate about that. But when I wake up, and in fact, when I sleep, I pray to God that please, let's find a way of getting this. And this will benefit Ghana and Africa. There's so much benefit that this will happen. And maybe people don't understand us very well. And so that's what I do. So I wake up knowing or looking for what is the best way to do it. What should we change to ensure that this dream comes off? This is a future thing. This is for the future, not for me. When
this becomes successful, it will employ about how many people?
The estimate, if we have all the 3 phases constructed, we're estimating that about 780,000 direct and indirect jobs will be created. I saw on the network somewhere that somebody said, but you're always talking about this big employment, but I'm not seeing any employment. People are impatient, and I understand them. So I say that if the Malaysian phase 1 attracted over 80,000 employees, then our phase 1 may even attract more because Malaysians are more technologically inclined than us. They are more likely to include technology in the way they work. We probably will use more human element to do that. So I see opportunity for this employment. Coming once we have unleashed the phase 1, once we have announced that we have acquired the land. Now we say we have the land. We tell the investors we have the land, but have we completely acquired it? And this is the work that we are doing now.
It must be really complex for the land acquisition. I hear you have made the points, but now it's hitting me hard because it's been months, and especially if you say that in 2023, the then president actually cut short for it, which means that it's not entirely new on the papers. Have you had the opportunity to interact with the president himself face to face to paint the clear picture, axe picture as it is? Because if there was a certain amount that was supposed to have been used, at least to start the processes, and there's nothing existing like that, I'd have thought that it would just be a call to the finance minister. Our president, he reads a lot. And he's watching what we're talking about here. Okay, watch it, JoyNews.
Yeah, so don't ever think that he doesn't know what's going on. I have been with him before when a map was given him and he was like describing the map, and I said, Your Excellency, are you a geographer? And he's not, but he knows it. I have been with him when he's spoken about roads in this country and all the nooks and crannies, the roads everywhere. He knew. I said, how did you know? He said, look, I've been around for some time. So yes, he's very much aware. I haven't sat down with him on this specifically.
Would you love that?
He has actually asked me to come and do that sometime. So at the appropriate time and as soon as it is possible, we will do that. So,
okay.
Yeah.
It is the last quarter of the year.
Yes.
What are the plans for the hub?
Yes. Interestingly, yesterday we did our work plan for the. You mean the last quarter? Mm-hmm. Yes. One.
I don't mind if you give me more than that. But
one, we are going to focus a lot of attention on acquiring the land. That's what we're going to do. And two, we'll continue with our investor relations management, because you have investors who keep calling that what's happening, and you have to manage that kind of relations. We also have stakeholder relations to manage at the Jomro, where the project is going to be. Try and allay the fears. I know the challenge of new things. When things are coming. I remember in my own village, when a mine was coming there for the first time, there was so much struggle. So because there was a fear of the unknown. And so you need to explain this, you need to engage the communities to understand that this is for the future, this is for the present, it is going to enhance your livelihood, it's not taking away your livelihood. And even how, when payments are made, you have to manage it. I have witnessed situations where payments have been made, big ones, and within a short time it's gone. So you need to assess those type of things. So we are doing that. We are also supporting our communities with some corporate social responsibility projects just to...
Oh, really? For example?
Water is life, and we are working with them. Some of them, even this internet, getting the internet in some areas is so bad. We're working with those internet providers, linking them up with the communities, and a few other things that we are going to be doing. And of course, training ourselves to be ready for the big day.
Have you relocated? Where are you located?
Yeah. We have, and this is very important. We used to be on the 335 place, I think on the eighth floor, and we found that place to be very beautiful, very nice, but it was too small for us, given that the corporation will be expanding. Two, we were looking for how to cut costs, how to be more efficient. Let me not say cut costs, but to be more efficient and effective, which include cutting costs. So we looked for a place whose rent was much better or cheaper
than the
previous one. So we have moved into 26 Akokosa Street, in a location which is bigger, and some people who have come there think it's much more beautiful and actually reflecting on a petroleum hub. We are paying much less for that, but we have bigger space. Please, landlord, don't come to me because I say we are paying much less. Otherwise, you come and say, then I'm taking my difference.
So now you're much more comfortable to operate.
Now we have an office, yes.
Okay. I mean, since you took over, have you been able to figure out exactly what went wrong with the previous government? Was it just political will? Was it just, some people just like to dream and not follow through to see the dream become a reality. What do you think was the challenge?
I think the whole Petroleum Hub thing is about five years old. So we celebrated our 5th anniversary only recently. And so it's a new institution, so to speak. And then I think getting to the election time, politicians talk big. There were a lot of projects that were commissioned that were non-existent and all that. So I thought it was one of the projects that they knew was not going to happen, but they should do that to get the political verve around that and to garner some votes, even though it didn't work that way. So I think much as they probably would have loved to have the hub, they also politicized it a bit, because you should have known that you have your 200 million CDs there. The president, the minister should have come out and say, we are sorry, we don't have that, so we know. but the community members and a lot of people, but that place, the land has been acquired, it has been paid for, why are you still doing this, So now the burden is on us to sort of say that, look, even though there was a sword cutting, when you cut sword, but the political sword cutting that occurred in the past, sometimes the sword was cut and then that's it. Sometimes the sword remained in there.
Dr. Robin, so I hear you say that this dream is big. You do not envisage that the entire project will be done maybe anytime soon. But at least, how much of this project do you see coming into fruition under your tenure?
My tenure is at the pleasure of the president. So if the president says, Tony, I want you to do something else.
Let's open it up then.
But let's say that the first, I think we should have been advanced in building up our phase 1. I also feel that we should have a fertilizer plant, because looking at the kind of preparations that I've seen, the company recently did an agreement with the Ministry of Agric for offtake, that when they produce, a certain percentage will be taken by the Ministry of Agric. And I think they've also had an agreement with the Cocoa Board also for offtake. So I am looking at seeing this. I'm hoping to see this happen, even if it's not fully constructed. Some advanced work has been done, yes. And then maybe would have also started the construction of settlements in the area. We have resettled a few people. We have resettled the people. There's a village called Old Kablesiazo. It's just on the coast of, at the outskirts of our project. In fact, the project has agreed to resettle them on purely humanitarian grounds. Because if you look at where the community is, it's an old community. There are not too many people there. They are just along the ocean, the beach. And then behind them, there is a lagoon. So when the tides are high from the other side, it's pushing them here. And then when the lagoon also rises, it's pushing them there. So they made appeals, several appeals. And so once we have things going, it will be one of the...
Well, the earliest and first projects.
Yes, to be researched.
That's nice.
There's land there already because they are compatriots. It's a two Kablesiazo, old Kablesiazo and new Kablesiazo. The new one is there. So all we have to do is to resettle, go and build facilities for them, amenities for them to join them. And we are very keen to doing that. It will be very good for the community.
It will be a travesty if I do not engage you on illegal mining.
Oh, my goodness.
Let's talk about illegal mining. From where you sit, how do you assess the current fight against illegal mining?
Let me be frank. It's a challenging situation. But I honestly think that this government has a very genuine heart and has a proper program to fight this. And the reason I say this is this. In fact, most of the things that government intends to do were thought through in 2015, 2016. The issue of geofencing, the issue of recategorization, the issue of education, and even cooperative mining were thought through in 2015, in 2016. It was discussed with the president. So it has been thought through. In 2020, we went for elections. We looked at some of these items and discussed that and said, this, we should do it this way, that. We didn't win the elections, so we still had it. And getting to the elections this year, I was the chairman of the small scale, of the mining, not small scale, mining committee.
And campaign strongly.
And the campaign, yes. So I have been involved in this. I know that this has been thought through. Unlike the previous government, and I'm saying it on authority because when the previous government came, I was there. I was still the Minerals Commission CEO. They came with a program called MMIP, Multilateral Mining Improvement Project. And then I asked, so what does it entail? How do you say, oh, you are going to populate it. You are going to populate it. So it means they didn't have a plan, but they, but they had a name of a plan. And so most of the things that we're going to populate were the handing over note that we had written, which is what the present system is doing now. So I see commitment. I see here genuineness. I see commitment. I know it is taking time.
But do you think that at this point in our lives, in the fight against galamsey, it is commitment that we would like to see? Especially, you have just drawn my attention to the fact that these were discussed as far as 2015? 2016
yes. So,
as well.
Yes, internally.
So I would have thought that once you're revisiting something that you have discussed already, you're in power now. All you'll be doing is implementing.
Yes,
my question
precisely what they're doing. I mean, it won't be immediate.
Why not?
I mean, the only thing that people are talking about is kind of, and it's quite worrying when you see the water bodies. I mean, and again, if you listen to me in the campaign time, and if you listen to the president in those days, we said, when we come, the water bodies and the forest, no-go area. So the government has declared, in fact, don't quote me wrongly, but the government has declared state of emergency on the water bodies and the forest areas. They say it's a red zone, no go, don't go there. It's a military zone, sort of. Now, the issue is the land, what is on the land, and what we can do to reduce the turbidity of the water bodies. So once we are able to stop people from either washing and putting that in the water bodies, or washing, doing the champagne on the water bodies, you can get it even settle a bit with time. Once there's calm, you see that it will be settling before you apply whatever can be applied. But I believe strongly that, and with the push that is going on, the public push and your love letter, I am sure that, I know the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources doesn't sleep. This man doesn't sleep because of this, and everybody is working. I know that we are impatient because this has been there for a long time. Sometimes I don't want a politicization of it. NPP doesn't have the moral right. NDC probably doesn't. So they are all, corporate. But they should stop this. And this was I've done here. I come here, so do it. When you give license to people to go and mine in the forest, and then at the same, when you are not there, say, don't take the license off, and you're putting pressure on the president to take it off. The president said, don't allow anybody to mine in the forest. He has done it.
I'll attempt.
The law will be changed.
This will be my final question. I'll attempt to see if I can get a yes or no. Yeah. Do you think that as a government, as a party, then you should have been measured in your promises in the fight against galamsey?
I'm sure people are going to measured.
Yes.
Look, are you going to say that the public should be measured?
No.
Because it's a challenge. When you see it from afar, it was outrageous for everybody. And so you couldn't be measured in the
promises.
I mean the promises.
Yes, in the fight, the promise, how you promised Ghanaians you were going to fight it head on. Do you actually, you have just said that there should be, the government has in a way declared a state of emergency
on the water bodies. I'm not saying it has declared though, because I haven't said, but the point is that on the water bodies, what the government has said is equivalent to declaring...
What's difficult about doing same for the lands?
The lands. I think that the president has given enough power to the people who are dealing with it.
Okay.
Therefore, but we need to do more. The one thing that I see missing is that we are making small-scale mining, and I blame small-scale miners themselves, look like something that is completely illegal. If we were to showcase those who are doing it legally, and say, look at these guys who are doing it legally, they are not harming the water bodies. They are doing it in our campaign. In my dream of the place, I told the people that, in fact, it should be possible for a mining site, a small-scale mining site, to build a daycare center around, because there are women who are there who have children. I've seen that. So this is a complex thing, and for me, the commitment is important. The president has been very robust about that. We are not getting there. We are not seeing the result, but I think it's just about time.
Dr. Tony Obin, thank you so much, and I wish you and the team at the Petroleum Hub Development Corporation all the best.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your...
You're watching the AM show. Please stay with me. There's more on the show.